The final boss. That's right. We talked about it. We've looked at it. We've speculated on it. Who's going to be the final boss of the final piece of the final saga? That's right. The World Soul Saga coming to an end with the last Titan. But who are we going to... Are we going to fight Azeroth? Because now the rumor mill has been spinning about things that have been coming out from Blizzard, and it looks like we might end up fighting our very own World Soul. Let's see what this one's all about here from Doran.
We may have actually discovered who the last Titan is, and it's likely that is in fact Azeroth. I mean, the leak that revealed Camelot from last year also gave us information on the end of Midnight and the plot of the last Titan. In Midnight, we return to the Black Blood and the World Soul, which we know will actually happen based on the recent PTR datamine evidence, and apparently the Titans succeed and manage to awaken Azeroth, and ultimately we have to defeat her in order to cleanse the planet. It's possible that Zelda succeeds with the Void, but the Titans come to save us, but instead they just do their own thing and finish their own conversion plan. So far, this leak has a lot of credibility, so let's look at all the evidence that we have. What happens once Azeroth awakens? What does she even look like? And what happens when we ultimately free her?
Doran always gets all the stuff right. Now he does speculate, surely, but there's some actual shit behind this. I'm telling you, I've already read stuff about that we could be fighting Azeroth, and there's evidence behind it. So let's see what he says.
I've played a lot of RPGs my entire life, and Watcher of Realms was right about one thing. They're really not your average RPG. Watcher of Realms is a next-gen fantasy RPG with 200 plus heroes from 9 different factions and strategic gameplays. This game is free-to-play RPG for PC and mobile that is celebrating their 3rd anniversary right now, meaning this is the perfect time to jump in. Every new player that logs in can claim a free legendary hero. If you use the promo code FREEEPIC3RD, you will also get to choose another powerful epic between the powerful fighter Alicia, who can deal high burst damage, or the mysterious mage AI, who can apply strong control effect, completely free. They're also giving up to 137 summons, free skins, and a ton of upgrade materials to help new players get started. A brand new storyline is coming as the Seraphim race makes its debut, alongside new characters like the Fallen Angels, Kayan, and the powerful demon lord Jezebel. But the coolest thing about this game are the visuals. I'm talking in detailed hero designs, impressive cinematics that really blow any mobile strategy out the water. If you're looking for a fantasy RPG with strategic gameplay and enough free rewards to get started without feeling behind, this is the perfect time to try Watcher of Realms. Click the link in the description, scan the QR code on the screen, and download Watcher of Realms for free on PC, iOS, and Android.
Ooh, try it, boys.
So, I know I've been going on and on and on about this Camelot leak and the future of Warcraft, and you probably already know everything about it, so I won't really get too much into it. However, what I do want to talk about is the last Titan and what will be happening in 12.2 and what we could potentially expect, which could actually be related to this leak. This evidence really coincides with what we have recently...
I mean, if I see one more creator post this freaking thing, I'm going to have to end it, boys. I'm just going to have to end the stream. We've seen this so many times now, and the reason why everyone's freaking out about it is specifically because of this little orange square here. This is Classic Plus, codename Camelot, and then a fucking thing came out internally from Blizzard. Turns out they actually did name codename Classic Plus Camelot. So now everyone's like, oh shit, this is not AI, this is real, because the guy got the codename right. So
datamine and what we know is going on, and also what is going to be announced on BlizzCon in like less than 2 months. So as you may know, 12.2 is going to be really the main patch of this expansion. We're talking about Zelda going inside the world core of Azeroth and doing something big that will trigger the Titan return and us having to go to North. About a week or so back, we datamined this Radiant Core flag related to Azeroth, and just Azeroth Energy, which is like this interpretation thing,
like
almost certainly this was caught early on the PTR, which kind of further confirms this leak. As you have seen with the Elven Reunion, we had some dialogue after the whole thing where they talked about how Saladin actually tricked us and how she didn't even want the Sunwell or Quatalas. The whole thing was that she used the Sunwell and its connection to the ley lines as like this one big tunnel so that she could send her Void army inside the core of Azeroth, and she is doing something big there. Now, in 12.1, we are getting old god hints, and we already datamined N'Zoth, so we have some potential Naloda hints too. So
that's true, I forgot N'Zoth was data mine. He's coming back, boys. You know, it's not like some streamer that you guys watch predicted that. I mean, you know, it's not like I've been saying it for like ever since he freaking died that he was coming back. And I figured during this expansion it would happen. We haven't seen yet when he's coming back, but N'Zoth's return is all but confirmed at this point.
Gist of the matter is that we are 100% going
Pre-watch
somewhere related
already,
to the World Soul Chamber in 12.2, and 12.2 is obviously going to be the transition for the last Titan. As we
Right.
know, the Titan return is also 100% confirmed. We've known this since 2023, so for them to come to Azeroth in person like this means something really crazy is about to happen, and we may finally know what it is. So, as I said, you've heard the Camelot leak. There is this screenshot from last year that was going around of a monitor of the Warcraft timeline, which obviously no one took seriously because anyone can just take a picture of a monitor. However, this is from a year back, and it showed this internal project name for Classic called Camelot on there to be announced on this year's BlizzCon, and we actually data mined this Camelot thing with the Heroic and the Epic Edition directly from the WoW build. So Camelot is in fact real, and someone guessed
This is why everyone lost their minds, because the data mining had the code name Camelot in it.
this eternal name.
This leak's not new,
obviously,
but
you
that
would expect
Camelot
this to be
thing
real. I mean,
was.
there's no way someone could have known about Camelot like a year back. To make this even more legit, the guy that posted this actually deleted his account, as he might get in trouble, and he probably will, because there is NDA and all this stuff. And apparently, he had a contact from the social media team that posted this. This is the most interesting thing he said. At midnight, the next expansion is going to return to the Black Blood and the World Soul, with Azeroth ultimately being the final Titan. She's going to come to life and cleanse
Watch Camelot be a mobile game. Wouldn't that be funny? And depressing.
the planet, including us players. So the last Titan, the final expansion, is going to wrap up with us having to defeat Azeroth in order to restore her, as after that ends, we are off to WoW 2. Seeing that this is the source of the leak and that he actually wrote like this all perfectly aligns with exactly what is currently going on in the middle of midnight in the data mine evidence, you can definitely see that
By the way, he did say we're off to WoW 2, and I've talked about this before. I don't see WoW 2 as being like a hardcore reset to the game. I do think they're going to do it. We're going to see essentially like a soft reset on the game, where we go back, kind of power scale gets back down. We're back in the forests of Elwyn, killing gnolls, maybe running through Westfall and stuff like that. Like basically a back to the basics.
Servant,
Voto.
we have a realm to destroy.
Thank you for the follow, man. Welcome to our Scourge. A back to the basics, kind of. And I think the game does need that. I definitely do. If we've just power scaled so hard at this point. Like, what do we do after we kill the Titans? Flick the dick of the universe? I have no idea. Where do you go after that? You've literally killed like the gods of WoW. So there's going to have to be some sort of reset. I think people want it in general. People want to kind of back to the basics. So I think that's what we're going to get here, is like a setup for the next 20 years of WoW, basically. Right? We've had 20 plus up to this point. We're going to get ready for the next 20 years.
is some significant
After the last
credibility
Titan.
here. I mean, it's not just like some MMO champion forum post. So when he wrote this was during War Within. He told us that the next expansion, aka Midnight, will return to the Black Blood and the World Soul. As I said, this is 100% correct because, as I said, based on the data mine flags, the dialogues, the huge old god hints from 12.1, we're 100% going to the World Core in 12.2. We're going to deal with the Black Blood, potentially Beledar and such. So on this part of new evidence, everything perfectly aligns. However, Azeroth coming to life is actually crazy. I mean, it is kind of expected. We've been talking about this for a decade, but that is definitely going to be a big deal. As you may know, based on the new lore, Azeroth is definitely not a Titan. She was Alnhara that lived in the cradle in Harandar as the goddess, but then she was ripped out, creating the Rift of Aln, and she was placed in the Titan prison that is almost certainly under the last floor of Kazakar. I know we kind of already forgot about Kazakar even being a thing, but do you remember the elevator from there? The elevator was apparently built for the Titans to monitor the World Soul, and there was one floor below the lowest most layer that was blocked that I expected we would see in the War Within, but looks like that is probably going to be Midnight content.
I think that's where the Rootlands was supposed to be. It's like freaking obvious at this point that Rootlands was supposed to be a patch for Midnight or the War Within, and that was back when they originally made the War Within, because that was pre-Chris Metzen coming back and deciding to turn this whole thing into a saga. So he removed the Rootlands patch, put in the Ethereal patch that we ended up getting, and then Rootlands got shoehorned into this expansion. So I think that's how the whole thing ended up working out. We were probably supposed to clear out the core way. The elevator he's talking about, I believe, was called the core way. And we were supposed to clear that shit out, go deeper, and then find the Rootlands, and that just never happened.
However, if Azeroth is not a Titan, how is she going to awaken, and what will that even mean? Based on this leak, we're going to fight the Titan corrupted Azeroth in order to free and restore her, which means that is likely the entire plot of The Last Titan. This in turn means that the Titans are going to be successful in their conversion that they had been working on for like the longest time ever. Seeing that Zelda is currently probably trying to convert Azeroth into the Void with all this black blood, this kind of spoils the ending, and big on if true, of course, as I said, this is not 100% confirmed. It likely means that Xal'atath fails in the Void conversion and the Titans might return to stop her. They return to save us from Xal'atath and the Void, and then we witness them corrupting our world soul and turning it into one of their own. After they're done and have used the planet, they might wanna get rid of us as well. As we had learned from the recent lore, their entire ordeal was to create this cocoon prison in order to just steal our very powerful world soul. They really don't care about the planet itself. So if this timeline is true, it likely means that something like the old god Zelda Void stuff might be the final boss of Midnight, and Azeroth is going to be the final boss of The Last Titan. It also makes sense about what we're going to learn on this year's BlizzCon. I gotta say, all of this actually makes total sense. I mean, this entire thing is called the World Soul Saga, and The Last Titan is the ultimate finale of the saga. We know that the Titans have tried their best to convert Azeroth into a Titan, so Azeroth being converted into the final and the ultimate Titan honestly makes the most amount of sense, actually. And us dealing with the World Soul Saga means we finally break this prison mechanism and we finally delete this target that we have on our back.
I mean, they kill her or they convert her and then we have to kill her. I just don't know if we're going to actually fight her or not. Or they bring her to life and then all of a sudden she turns on them and then we basically team up and fight the Titans with her. That could be the way it goes down too. But I think there's a 100% chance we end up seeing her brought out, just like we saw here with the World Soul. So it's going to happen. We're going to see Azeroth in form. Which side she takes, I guess we'll find out.
What you find very interesting though is what
is she corrupted by the time she's brought out? Who knows?
Azeroth awakening even mean? Before I was thinking it would like destroy the entire planet or significantly shape.
I mean, the World Soul of Argus was completely mindfucked by the time he came out. That's why we ended up having to kill him. And by the way, that was probably a mistake killing him too. That whole thing is just so sketchy at this point, and I guess we'll find out what really went down that day. But yeah, Argus coming out like this tortured world soul, he was totally scuffed by the time he was brought out.
Before, I was thinking it would like destroy the entire planet or significantly shape it, but if Anhara Azeroth connection is true, and it almost certainly is, it probably won't do all that much. I mean, I think Azeroth is just kind of like planted inside the planet itself, inside the landmass, and she's going to like arise into like a Titan being. We might get some consequences. I feel like almost certainly we're going to get some consequences. Like the entire planet is probably going to be like destabilized. It's going to be like Ragnarok, the end times. You might get like weather malfunctioning, the world soul being awakened, all sorts of weird anomalies happening all over Azeroth. We might even like discover those islands on the other side, like the clouds may break, so we may discover like Avaloran and all this stuff because
the whole event of Azeroth reawakening is probably gonna be the reset of WoW. And I don't think they're going to do Cataclysm, destroy the entire planet, and change how all the zones look. But it might lead to the up-res, kind of the re-release of all the zones. Kind of the rework of them the way we saw with the upper half of the Eastern Kingdoms. Do you think she's going to be... You reckon she's going to be hot? Yeah, of course. Yeah, of course she's going to be hot. What are you talking about?
Azeroth, the world soul, is being awakened.
That's a requirement
from the core of the planet. I mean, remember the crazy stuff that happened back with Azerite, just with the Sword of Sargeras? Now imagine Azeroth being like fully awakened. However, I don't think we are in for some crazy like Cataclysm event, like the whole planet is just going to get like destroyed, like the Sundering. We might get some shattering of Northrend, because I feel like Azeroth, once she awakens, is not going to awaken from Khazakar, but from Northrend, and this might like break the continent, and it might align with the map that we have discovered previously
the Ice Crown map.
This also aligns with the evidence because we learned that the prison is connected to like the whole of Azeroth and all the Titan facilities, but the main command center is in Northrend, and apparently something really important is under the Ice Crown Citadel. It could be possible that this is where Azeroth is going to rise as a Titan servant, and then the whole deal of the Last Titan is going to be us working to free her. The interesting thing though is what happens after. Does she just return back to the cradle, remain as a goddess, or just like completely disappear with us being finally like left on our own? Interesting to think about, of course, but way too early to say anything for certain. However, so far this leak does actually make the most amount of sense. Watch of Realms is still running its 3rd anniversary celebration, so if you haven't claimed the free legendary hero and the extra epic hero from the promo code
these guys are paying a lot for
make
their
sure
ads.
to check it out.
Nice video overall
Thanks
from
for watching.
Doran.
Check out
Interesting
more
stuff.
on this leak as we learned about the Netflix series that also has evidence by clicking on the
True.
screen, and subscribe to my brand new Witcher Lore channel by clicking on the screen as well. See you next time.
Yeah, the World Soul being summoned, all but guaranteed. She's gonna come back. We're gonna see what Azeroth actually looks like. But is she like corrupted? Is she all messed up by the time we get to her? And do we have to fight against her? I think all that stuff. We'll see what ends up happening. A nice video, as I said before, from Doran.